Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. I am the Scent Maven. Welcome back to my channel, Shopping and Scents. So today I have a movie review for you that is going to be interrupted by my dog's constant snoring. Hey! So distracting. Anyway, I don't know why I do these movie reviews because I'm not a movie reviewer or a critic. Not professionally anyway. And my movie reviews don't typically get a lot of views, but today we're going to be talking about House of Gucci. So, yes, yesterday I watched House of Gucci. I've been wanting to see that movie because I wanted to see if it was going to be like House of Versace. Remember House of Versace with, what's her name? I knew I was going to forget something. Gina Gershon as Donatella Versace. That was a good movie. But of course, it's not on the level of production wise and, budget wise as House of Gucci. So I was a little bit hesitant to watch the movie because it is over 2.5 hours long. But I have to say, I loved it. I did. I loved it. I thought it was going to be more focused on fashion, sort of the way The Devil Wears Prada is more fashion oriented. But it isn't so much. It's more about the drama of the Gucci family. And it stars, of course, Lady Gaga as Patrizia Reggiano. And she marries Maurizio Gucci, played by Adam Driver. Now, I have to say, I don't like romance stories. And when I watch Titanic, I always fast forward through the whole romance between Jack and Rose and get to the part where the Titanic hits the iceberg and all of the action and destruction happens. But I have to say, I really enjoyed the love story beginning between Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. She's this feisty, you know, vibrant woman. She works for her dad at this trucking company. She's like a secretary. And he's part of the Gucci empire, but he's not interested in the fashion side. He's studying to be a lawyer, and he's very bookworm, kind of mouseish type guy. And so he's like the nerd and like very totally quiet and opposite of her. And she meets him at a party, and then she seeks him out. She follows him. It's kind of stalkerish a little bit. But the chemistry between the two of them, it's just like it is such a amazing romance, and for somebody who doesn't like romance, I'm always like, romance is all sappy crappy. I really was intrigued by it. So there's so many great performances. So there's the love story between the two of them, and then Maurizio, Adam Driver's father, Rodolfo Gucci, played by Jeremy Irons, who is like 73 years old, something like that. He tells Maurizio, don't marry her because she's just a gold digger. And he's like, but I love her and whatever. And so he says, well, I'll disown you. So he kind of, in a sense, disowns him, but not like really. And he separates from him. And so Maurizio has no money, and he goes to, what's her name? Patrizia's family, her trucking company dad, and says, I want to marry your daughter, but I have no money now. My family's disowned me. I need a job. So he gets a job at the trucking company, doing manual labor and stuff. And he seems to really enjoy it, and they get married. And so it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder because was Jeremy Irons, was Rodolfo right? Was she a gold digger? Because at the point where she married him, she and Maurizio think that he's been disowned from the Gucci family. So they get married. Then she starts trying to sort of persuade him to get back into the good graces of his family. She says, because family is so important. But is family really important, or was she interested in getting her claws into the Gucci empire? The romance between her and Maurizio seems so genuine, so electric. It doesn't seem like something she faked because she wanted to get into the family, but who knows? So the way the way they get back into the family is they go to Maurizio's uncle. So that would be Jeremy Irons' brother, Rodolfo's brother, and his name is Aldo Gucci, and he's played by Al Pacino. And Al Pacino gives an amazing performance. The man is 81 years old, and he's still a charismatic, just wonderful actor, that just embodies the role of Aldo Gucci. So good. Like, he's calm when he needs to be calm, but then he's that, that, I don't want to see the what's the word? Not panicked, but the jumpy, like, excited Al Pacino, the screaming Al Pacino that we sometimes get, like from Scent of a Woman, like that kind of Al Pacino. So there is a bit of that in there. So great. Al Pacino's so great. Jeremy Irons so great. Then here's the point that a lot of people have made about the movie. Now, I watched the trailer for it before I watched the movie. I don't think the trailer captures the movie at all. But it just passed my mind. Paolo Gucci, who is Al Pacino's son in the movie. So Al Pacino. Did I say Aldo Pacino? Al Pacino, who is Aldo Gucci, his son, Paolo. So that would make him Maurizio's cousin and Rodolfo's nephew, right? He's played by Jared Leto. Does not look like Jared Leto at all. They put prosthetics on him. He's bald and fat, and he's like this black sheep of the Gucci family, and he wants to start his own clothing line, but he's like, a little dim-witted, and he has these terrible clothing ideas, and nobody wants to have anything to do with him. And even Aldo, Al Pacino's character is embarrassed by him. So but here's the thing. I watched that whole movie, and I thought that Paolo was supposed to be the annoying, dim-witted black sheep of the family, which Jared Leto played very well. And I did not know it was Jared Leto until after the movie. I was like, that was Jared Leto? It was like so weird, because every time I think of Jared Leto now, I imagine him as the Joker in Suicide Squad, which I still have yet to finish watching that movie. The transformation, unbelievable. A lot of people criticize Jared Leto in that role because they said that his Italian accent, which they all have Italian accents in the movie, the Italian accent is over the top, that it's like Mario, like it's a Mario, like Mario from Mario and Luigi. And yeah, he does sound like that, looking back on it. And they said, he played the role over the top. He was goofy and cartoony, and, how he was so awful. Some people said he was absolutely terrible, and other people loved him. For me, I think he played the role right. The goofy, bumbling outcast of the family, the annoying guy, the unlikable guy. He played him to a T. So, I didn't have a problem with it. He is unlikable in the movie because he's just an unlikable character. It's not his acting, it's not Jared Leto's acting that makes the character unlikable. He's just an unlikable character. So, yeah. That's why it has some great moments. I watched that whole movie, and never in that 2.5+ hours did I ever feel bored or feel that the movie was dragging. I was entertained by it through and through. I loved it from beginning to end, and I don't think it's a movie because it's so long. I don't think it's a movie that you would watch like over and over again. It's definitely a journey type movie where you have to feel like, okay, I'm sitting down for a journey, and I need to, like, I'm loafing for this afternoon, which is what I did. So yeah, it didn't drag for me at all. I thought it was very entertaining. I loved all of the actors in the movie. Loved, loved, loved. Um, it's sad how the movie ends. I didn't know anything about the Gucci family other than like the handbags and stuff. I didn't know it, well, the Gucci brand. I didn't know anything about the family, you know, knew nothing about it, went into it completely blind, didn't know the story. So if you don't know the story, it's based on a true story. I'm not going to reveal the ending to you, but you could pretty much figure it out without having to see the movie. Um, yeah, the other thing that I would say is Lady Gaga. I haven't seen her in an acting role. I didn't watch A Star is Born. So this is the first time I'm watching her as an actress, and I thought she did a phenomenal job. Um, there is one scene in the movie that I really, really love. One of the many scenes that I really love. It's when she's married into the Gucci family, obviously, and she's getting herself more and more involved in the 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 prominence, the prestige of the Gucci name. So she lives in this big house, right? And she sees a handbag, a Gucci handbag on her countertop that she doesn't recognize. So she goes over to her maid and or housekeeper, and she says to her, and this takes place from 1978, 79 to the 90s, I think, early 90s. So she goes over to her housekeeper slash maid and says, is this your bag? And she said, yes, it's a Gucci, just like what you have. And she said, oh, my husband bought it for me. She says, oh, really? What Gucci store location did he go to buy this bag? So she tells her, and Lady Gaga goes to this underground market where they're selling bootleg, imposter Gucci handbags. So she buys them all. She brings them home. They don't show you that part, but they just show you that she's bought all of them, and she's showing them to Maurizio and first Maurizio, then Aldo, and she's like, "What is this? What is this? How are you allowing this to happen?" And Maurizio is like, well, they're not that bad. And she's like, it's garbage. It's garbage. And it has the Gucci name on it. How can you let this happen? And Maurizio is like, well, it's my name, and I'm not so concerned about it. And she's like, it's my name too, sweetie. It's so great. And then the really revealing part, the part that I love, is also that she shows the bags to Aldo, played by Al Pacino, and he's like, it's not a big deal. He's like, if a housewife in Long Island wants to believe that she is a Gucci customer because it makes her happy, why not let her? Why not let her? So yeah, and she's like, it's cheap garbage with the Gucci name, and she's like, oh. So anyway, I won't tell you how it ends. I won't tell you how it ends, but I will let you know that I did do some research on the real life people, and Fabrizia Reggiano is not allowed legally, from what I read, not allowed to use the last name Gucci. She has to be Fabrizia Reggiano. But I read that she uses the name anyway when she feels like it. And there's a quote, I wish I had the quote in front of me. And she's like, she says something to the effect of, they're not Gucci. I'm more Gucci than all of them. And the sad thing is, no, I won't tell. There's two sad endings. There's the sad ending in the movie, and there's the sad ending of what happens to the Gucci brand. I'll let you watch the movie and enjoy it. So those are my thoughts on House of Gucci. What did you think? I personally do not own anything Gucci. I could not afford it. But let me know what you thought of the movie, House of Gucci. So I give it 2 thumbs up. Comment, rate, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Shopping and Sense, and I will see you all in a future video. But until then, goodbye everyone out there in YouTube land.